It'll all work out. It's the organized chaos.
It's true. It's true. So far, so good. Sounds fun. We've got some witty bants. We're entertaining.
For having absolutely nothing to talk about, this is turning out really good.
That's our specialty. We are entertaining mofos, and it doesn't matter. I think the Mantic junk just kind of cramps our style.
That's true.
We're beholden to that.
Screw this dead zone. We're going universal.
We can spread our wings and fly.
If it's a Shadows of Brimstone podcast, I could be talking about all the miniatures I've been painting.
SOB podcast.
The SOB. Okay, you can bring us back.
Okay.
Welcome to the Dead Zone podcast. Dead Zone is the sci-fi tabletop miniature skirmish game from Mantic Games. And now, here are your hosts Rob Harper and Jack Pike. I am your announcer, William Randolph Wintergreen.
Welcome to the 76th episode of Dead Zone the podcast for October 2017. In this episode, we have a social media blitz. As always, you can go to deadzonegame.podbean.com to see all the pictures, or you can go to youtube.com/c/deadzone the podcast for the video version of the show. Now on to the episode.
Welcome back to Dead Zone, the podcast. This is episode 76. And with me, as always, is my forever chum, Rob.
Yellow.
And I'm Jack. And we're going to imbibe some wisdom, expand your horizons, and hopefully answer my phone. So, Rob, what's going on for this episode?
Well, we got lots of news. I can tell you're sick. You actually called it Dead Zone the podcast.
Oh, drat.
I was like, what? Who's talking? Yes, we got some news, and then we have a bit of a social media extravaganza, and we'll cover some stuff. We've done this before. It's been a bit of a quiet month, so we do have a little bit of news, but we'll talk about the things that are interest to us on the social medias, and hopefully it'll be an interest to you loyal listeners.
Yes.
So let's just get right into it. So we got some news.
We begin with our first segment, the news.
And the first bit of news is that it came out just today, the day of the recording, that Star Saga it's on a slow boat from China right now, so it'll be shipping late November, and the general release will be December. Hopefully, this is all true. It's a little late. They said October before, but 1 month, we can handle that, I think.
Yeah. It's not the end of the world 1 month. We know everything's been delayed. We've been warned for months and months. We know why, and they were forthcoming. It's not like anyone was, unanswered emails, and is it coming at all? No.
Yeah, just a little late. But, and that's the wave 1. They did split it into 2 waves. So wave 1 is then, the second wave is Q2 2018, so we'll see if that happens then too. That's when we'll be getting the Nameless. That's what we're looking forward to, but Star Saga in general we're looking forward to also. Other than that, it's all rats all the time. There's lots of rat news. And the first bit of rat news is that the Veer-myn tunnelers are on their way to the backers, if you didn't order anything else like we did. So if you ordered the Forge Fathers and the Enforcer plane and the tunnelers, or just the tunnelers, they will be whizzing their way to you. Most people have gotten them by now, I think. They said if any time before November, it's coming to you. After that, complain. But yes, the tunnelers are coming out. We have some great shots from Mantic of the assembled tunneler and all the options you get, different weapon options and all the bits. It's I always like to see the kit, what it looks like, so you can assemble it. And it looks pretty simple. Not too many pieces. I think it'll be a fun kit to put together.
Yeah, it looks dynamite. It's some of the other, the factions have their aesthetic, and this has the Veer-myn aesthetic. You know this isn't an Enforcer vehicle. You know it's not a Forge Father. The Asterians aren't being basic, slumming it in a tube with a drill in the front. This is Veer-myn.
Yeah, you got the options of different weapon options, and actually it looks like different side panel options too, which is interesting. If you have a bunch of them, you want to make them look different, because obviously the Veer-myn aren't going to look all the same every time. So that's kind of fun. But yes, excited to get the tunneler into our greedy little hands. Also, for the Veer-myn is that pre-orders are up at the Mantic shop for whole new Veer-myn groups. It's in the Warpath section, but obviously they can be used for Deadzone also. But the first force is a reserve force for 60 pounds or $85 US, and you get one of the tunnelers, which is cool, plus creepers, 5 creepers, 5 maligni, 2 tunnel runners, the tunnel runners, and 2 rumbler platforms. So it's a nice little set there. A lot of vehicles. For Warpath especially, that's a good set, but also Deadzone, that'll get you a nice starter set for some Veer-myn there.
Yeah. If you just want to paint up some dapper looking tunnelers and the runners, oh yeah, nice.
And I do like the weathered on the vehicles, and the tunnel runners and the tunneler, the weathered yellow. I think that looks really cool, other than the bright yellow that you were doing.
It's a nice transition from the original painter's work down to a little bit more lived in.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool, and all the rust on the vehicles. And they also have something called the Veer-myn Mega Force. It's 100 pounds or 150 US, and it gives you 40 Nightcrawlers or Stalkers, 5 Maligni, 5 Creepers, 8 Nightmares, 2 Rumblers, 2 Progenitors, 3 Tunnel Runners, a Night Terror, and a Tunneler. Really nice set. And the picture does show a Broodmother. I didn't say Broodmother though, but the picture shows a Broodmother, so I assume she's in it too. So yeah, nice set of. That's pretty much every single Veer-myn they have to offer. So that's if you want a Veer-myn force for anything, that's the one to get. And then you never have to buy another Veer-myn until they release new things.
That is, like, just looking at that picture, that is a lot of models.
That's, other than the vehicles, including the vehicles, we just haven't got them yet, but that's pretty much what we got with the Kickstarter. All that stuff. Because we did get one set of the creepers, that's the old school ones that you liked, with the weird drilled knives.
Right.
And then a bunch of other stuff, but yeah.
I don't know about what other company you could, for that price, get a full army, including 4 vehicles, plus 2 smaller, like, mid-sized vehicles, and that well-rounded of a force. That is $150.
Yeah, the only thing I find is that not enough Night Terrors. You only get 1 Night Terror. And they've come into their own with a new rule, so I would like more Night Terrors, and I wish they made Veer-myn Swarms. They haven't done that yet, but they do with the what's his name, the Paeper. But I wish they'd sell those separately. That's really the only things you're really missing from this set. But it's a nice grouping.
8 Nightmares though, like the Night Terror. Yes, maybe you could use a couple more, but those.
Well, we also modified a bunch of Night Terrors Nightmares into Night Terrors too, so you could always do that also.
Well, you could model all 8 of them with 2 one-handed drills. Then
the funny thing is, none of them have that. None of the ones in the picture have the best option. It is an option. We've done it ourselves. So
maybe it's just not the option that they prefer.
It's not pretty looking. It's not flashy,
I guess.
And that's about it for the news. Like I said, it's a pretty quiet news cycle this time. We had a lot of news last time, so I think it's just the way it goes. I know tomorrow there's going to be huge news coming out because we're recording today. That is the way of the world.
There is no question. There's no question. What we should do is just demand that no news happen. We should post on all social medias. We are recording today. Do not release any news for the next week at least.
Yeah, that's right. Give us time to record a new one. But we don't have that kind of power, unfortunately, and We'll see if anything comes out. If it's too earth-shattering, we maybe do a 0.5, but we're just assuming something exciting is going to come out. But I think that's it. We'll go take a break. We'll be back, and we'll go on to our main topic. How does that sound?
Sounds wonderful. I can't wait.
Spanky.
Dreadpath Zone. Dreadpath Zone is a YouTube channel dedicated to the Warpath universe by Mantic Games. Dead Zone, Warpath, Firefight, Dreadball, and Star Saga battle reports, unboxings, how-tos, and much, much more. Full of banter, ridiculous dice rolls, and the love for the hobby. So go check out Dreadpath Zone on YouTube or Facebook, and remember, keep rolling 8s.
Hey, this is Jack from the Dead Zone Podcast, and you've been listening to the Dead Zone Podcast.
With Jack from the Dead Zone Podcast.
So much Dead Zone Podcast, it'll make you vomit.
And welcome back. And we're going to have an all-media roundup. Well, pretty much just YouTube. All yours, YouTube?
For my YouTube videos that I like, yes.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll have some, we'll talk about some YouTube videos we like. I think, we have 2 different ideas of how this is going to go, but we'll hope it works out.
That's the best part of the way we do our pre-planning. We have a theme. We say this is what we're going to do, but then after that, there's no, much like team building exercise.
It's chaos.
I think it lends itself to different points of view. You come at it and you had something in your mind. I have something in my mind, and then when we meet, it's like, oh, a well-rounded opinion. But
organized chaos. How's that? Okay. You gonna start? Want me to start?
How about you start?
Okay. My first YouTube channel that I am promoting is a band I like, and it's kind of like old school industrial, like Ministry back in the day. It's called 3 Teeth, spelled 3 Teeth, and the link will be in the show notes. But yes, I want people to listen to them more, and it's cool. So there you go. And they remind me of, yes, old school Ministry. That's about it. Nothing new or exciting there. It's just something I am pro 3 Teeth.
You do love you some music.
I do, and I do follow quite a few bands on the YouTubes. So that's just the one I'm into currently right now.
Cool.
So Jack, please let us know what your first YouTube video is.
I was under the impression, strictly because we were doing a podcast about miniatures and mini wargaming, that they would be people I follow in that realm. So, and my disclaimer is there's not going to be Dreadpath Zone, Trainaholic, Family of Gamers, not because I don't follow them, but because they're our pals. And
well, you literally named the 3 that I follow that are associated with miniatures, so that's why I didn't do mine like that.
See, like I said, there's a surprise chaotic synergy between us. It's palpable. I can taste it. So I didn't mention them because they're our friends, real life good friends. And there's 2 I didn't mention, Greenleaf Terrain and Tabletop Minions, because I have imposed my will on both of them in a public setting and gushed over them, and there's photographic evidence of that. And so, just out of shame, I'm not going to mention either of those either. And I apologize for both ruining your tournament. And
that was the first Adepticon we went to. And the best thing was we were talking to Ronnie Renton, the owner of Mantic, and Jack was so distracted that Adam Smasher from what's the name of that site again?
Tabletop Minions, yeah.
Yeah, he was right behind us talking to Adam Tremblay from Miniature Mountain now, and that he couldn't actually concentrate enough to talk to Ronnie.
No, I apologize.
He pretty much is like, yeah, get back to business, Ronnie. I gotta go talk to this guy. And he fawned over him.
Ronnie and got my picture taken and fawned over him a little bit to the point where Rob was nauseous.
I was pretty like embarrassed for you, frankly.
Yes. So that's why I didn't mention Tabletop Minions.
Yes, you still haven't actually mentioned the channel you're going to mention.
My first channel, I got on board with this channel. It's Luke's APS, Affordable Paint Service. He's from England, and I got on board when he had probably 200 subscribers. Now he's up over almost to 40,000 subscribers.
Oh, really?
And that was over maybe a year and some.
Yeah, I remember checking him out on his early days, too. And yeah, I just fell off, but that's funny that he's that popular now.
He does terrain and miniatures, basing of things on the cheap. He gets he'll go get a 15-liter jug of something, pour something in it, this, and there's your wash. Just if I took a drink every time he said pound shop, my liver would just pick up his suitcases and just head out the door. Like, that would be it. So Luke's affordable paint service.
Yeah, I remember him doing different washes, and his spacers in his ears distract me. But other than that, he seems like a cool guy.
When they're in his ears, they're not as distracting. When they're out and you can look through the whole time, that may be a bit more distracting.
Yes,
but I'm not one to judge.
No, it's fine. To each their own. I think he's in a band, so it's like he's got that rock star look to him.
Yeah, he does.
But yeah, he's I think he's in his attic or something, and he's just working away and doing really cool stuff. Yeah, he's a cool guy. My next channel has nothing to do with gaming again, but it is something cool because I like it, and the person running it is Canadian, so that's another plus to him. It's Alien Theory, and it's a channel all about the Alien franchise, the movies, and if you'd seen just Prometheus and Alien Covenant, that's not why I love Alien. I'm a huge Alien trilogy fan back in the day. Well, I guess quadrilogy, and especially Alien and Aliens. And this guy just does videos all about Alien, like doing behind-the-scenes stuff or talking about the lore and going over. It's really cool. If you're an Alien fan, I think it's a must-watch. Nice short videos. That's why I'm a pro short video on YouTube. I can't watch those long videos anymore. It's just, my attention span has become a gnat, so it's nice to get those quick hits of interesting iotas. It's kind of like watching the documentary stuff on DVDs I used to enjoy back in the day. It's kind of like that, but it's different content all the time. So, Alien Theory.
You do love your Alien. I was talking to Trainaholic at Adepticon, and we were discussing building Train, and I forget, you had mentioned Headley's Hope or something, whatever that's. And I said I didn't know what that was. I hadn't seen the movie since, I don't know, maybe high school. You lashed out in anger, and Trainaholic understood your position. He was like, "You're like, of course you know what that is." I have no idea. No, yeah,
yes.
Your love of Alien outweighed your tolerance of me.
Well, that's pretty clear. Most things outweigh my tolerance of you, though.
Yeah.
So, what's your next one?
My next one is a small YouTube channel called Miniature Painting.
Miniature Painting.
Yes. He's got a little over 100 subscribers.
Wow.
But he paints Mantic miniatures. Does a fantastic job. And I found him when I was looking for a paint scheme. And I basically saw how he painted. He had some mounted riders. He painted like ghosts. And as Rob can attest, they are still in this room as we speak. I mimicked that paint job, and I fell in love with it, and I've stayed with him since. And he's painted zombies for Walking Dead and a whole bunch of other stuff. And he just does a good job. He just paints miniature painting.
Miniature painting.
Yeah.
It's good that you got a small one in there so that we can get him some more views. He'll be like, why the hell did I get all these views? So if you're interested, go check him out. And,
like we have that poll.
Yeah. At least get him like a couple more views. Come on, people. A few more subscriptions. A little uptick of subscriptions so that he thinks that for some reason all of a sudden he's getting all these subscriptions.
You know what? We might not have that poll. People do not value our opinions enough to get that. But I've met plenty of our audience. And just the thought of flooding someone's YouTube channel to cause confusion and a momentary, those are our peeps. That is a possibility.
On a side note, I used to listen to a podcast. Well, I think it was a live show. It was just a couple guys, and they they used to do compliment bombs. They'd pick a random, like, not so much on YouTube, but more just like a article on the web. And they'd send all their, like, they had like thousands and thousands of people. They'd send them all to this place and just, you had to be a compliment. And they'd give you like a key word you had to say in every compliment. But it would be like just go there and be very positive. Like, cause they were so used to people being negative on all these things, right? They wanted to compliment bomb places. So that's a good idea, Jack. I think that anybody who's interested, go to this miniature painting, guys. Whatever his last video was, watch it, subscribe, and then give him a compliment. And we'll see if we can get him some viewers and maybe give him some positive feedback.
Yeah, why not? That's doing some goodwill. That's bringing some positivity.
We're putting positivity in the world. This is our new outlook on life.
Yeah.
My next one is a strange goat-headed Han Solo from Australia. This guy is Mr. Sunday Movies. He does a podcast, but he also has a YouTube channel. The podcast is quite funny. It's just two Australian guys talking about media, like movies and television shows and stuff. But I don't know if it's just because they're Australian, but I find them very hilarious. And Mr. Sunday Movies, he does like regular clickbait kind of stuff, like watching watching a trailer and all the things you missed and all that, but he puts his spin on it, and half the time he does it like half-heartedly, which is hilarious. So he knows it's his clickbait. So he's just like, yeah, I know you probably saw way more than I did, but here's the stuff I saw. He's really funny. And
you've sent me a couple links. Hey, you gotta check this out. You've done that a couple times.
Yeah, he's a pretty funny guy. And so it's Mr. Sunday Movies on YouTube, and there's also he does a podcast, which is quite good. So if you're interested in some media coverage from Australia, and mostly like sci-fi and superheroes and that kind of stuff, all genre stuff, obviously he is a goat-headed man dressed as Han Solo. So there you go, Mr. Sunday Movies. What you got?
Next, speaking of Australians, she paints miniatures. She was originally from New Zealand when I first started following her, and again, I started following her when she had maybe 20 subscribers. She was out in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand, and she would have to go and make different things, and very on the cheap. Again, on the cheap, creating washes, making
receive a
static
theme
glass.
from you.
Yeah, well, you also know me, so so she's fantastic, and just her voice. I got to listen to her just narrate the phone book. But anyway, she's now moved to Australia.
What is the name of this channel, Jack? You never did say.
Alternative Artist.
Alternative Artist.
Yes, and she does since 40K has really, swelled again.
Wait, what's 40K?
Oh, yes.
I'll find out later.
Yeah.
Go on.
If you really look hard, you might be able to find something.
Okay, I'll search it later.
Yes. So she just with very little, whatever she could get without access to a hobby store, and surprise, surprise, that is of something we share. She's able to paint fantastic quality miniatures with supplies that you shouldn't be able to do that level of detail with.
Cool. Yeah, it's nice. Hell, I'm finding interesting things in the stuff you're saying, so I have to check these people out.
Yeah. Because,
yes, we I don't know if how many people like this, especially in larger cities, but our closest hobby store is probably a couple hours away, and at least an hour away. So we do have to either order everything online, which is hard for some stuff, or do it ourselves. So it's good to have this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we don't run out of royal blue from our certain line and go, tomorrow on the way home from work I'll stop by and pick it up. No, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's wait a couple weeks for Amazon to deliver it, or mix two colors together and make that color. So
yeah, that's
great. And my last one, I've chosen one that I would say this is related to the hobby, because it's Oats Studio. It's from Neil Blomkamp, who did
District 9.
District 9, yes, the one I was thinking of. Chappie and Elysium, all those movies. He has a YouTube channel. I think it's part of Twitch, or not Twitch. Is it Twitch? Yeah, I think it is Twitch, actually. That it's part of Steam for some reason. I don't know how it works, but he has a studio on YouTube that he does short movies, and a few of them are very Dead Zone-like, and you can definitely get some inspiration. One of the first ones I saw was it's on a space station or something like that, and there's this creature that is very plague-like chasing this girl through the station, and it's very cool. But he's done quite a few now, and if you just go to Oats Studios on YouTube, it's like getting little movies, and I think he's doing them as kind of concepts for larger movies, and I don't know how he's grading it or if it's just tests or what, but if any of this stuff comes to light as a full-length movie, every single one of them was so interesting that I'd love to see it. Like, they're all very cool. So yes, go to Oats Studio. Oats as in the thing you eat, or the thing that horses eat at the very least.
Yeah, the horses and the Scottish.
Yes, but good stuff. Great director, good channel.
Okay, my last one is it's Paeper Cuts, but not spelt like paper. It's PAEPERCUTS, Paeper Cuts. And this guy just does basing for miniatures. I've seen him do some terrain pieces too, but more diorama-like. I have never seen the level of detail and the craftsmanship and just the skill. Now, I don't watch those videos to go, okay, yeah, if I do that, I can muck something together and make it passable. I watch those videos to know how pathetic I am.
That's not right.
It is a reminder day in and day out that I could spend an hour per base making a tropical jungle tree with water and mango tree roots, and does fantastic work, top-notch work.
Yeah, it's good to well, I find it, some of it's aspirational, some of it's inspirational, and other of it's just, like you say, it just beats you down. So hopefully you get some tips from it that you can use, or at least ideas. But otherwise, it's just self-flagellating. Flagellating? I can't speak. But you're just beating yourself down.
Yeah.
Well, we also have a quick shout-out. We're going to do the shout-out now because we have more things to talk about after the break. But we do have a shout-out for Ben Edwards, the guy who's doing the Battlescribe files. And he let us know that he was a Kings of War guy, and he just started doing the Battlescribe files for Dead Zone as a kind of side thing because it needed to be done. And all of a sudden now he's super into Dead Zone, so it's great to hear. But he's so into Dead Zone, he's running a league. And he's running the Pit Deadzone League, and he has about 12 people already interested. It's going to be an escalation league, and he's got a bunch of rules and stuff. He's got a league document that we'll have a link to in the show notes, so you can check it out. He is in he said he's near London, but he's in England anyways. But so it's a bunch of stuff. It's at the Pit Gaming Shop in Boreham Wood, Hertfordshire. So if you're anywhere near Boreham, I'm sure it's not pronounced like this the more I try to read it.
No,
we're Boreham Wood, Hertfordshire, and or you can try to get there. It's a weekly thing, so it's only $10 or £10, I should say, to enter. But you can do that, and you get a chance to play in the league there. And they have lots of great prizes, and it starts on 6th of November at the Pit Gaming Shop. It's also at Thor's Hammer Gaming Club, and that's on the 7th. So you have some options there. And like I say, you can go to the link in our show notes to find out exactly all the info. He also he's got lots of support, especially from Gamemat.eu. They provided their industrial set to use for the terrain, and also as prize support. And you can go. We have a link to that in our show notes too. But he set up for us that if you go to there and use the promo code Deadzone, our listeners get 5% discount. So Ben set that up for us, which is kind of cool. He's been talking with the Gamemat.eu people. And especially if you're in Europe, it's a great place to buy mats as well as that sets. And the sets are really cool. The industrial set is because it's all based on 3-inch sizes. It's just coincidentally, I guess, but it turned out it's all 3, 6, 9 inch, so it'll fit perfectly on the squares. So that's cool. So yes, either go onto Facebook and message Ben. You can find him on Facebook, Ben Edwards. And yeah, you get involved in this league. And we'd love to have more people. If you're having leagues or tournaments, let us know. We'll shout it out and maybe get some more people there.
Yeah, if we can only do so many goods in the world, and getting the stuff like that out there and letting people know that it's a real kind of, sponsored event, who the pedigree of the people it is, like. It makes you think if you're in the area, I don't know who these people are, or that guy's, that guy does the battle scribe for it. He's got he's going to be at a store, not in a abandoned warehouse in the rundown industrial district. Just meet by the burning barrel. There's some things there. If we can get the word out for you, we'd love to do it.
Yep, and it's cool to have people contact us with this kind of stuff. And Ben's really into it, and if you look at his that league doc, he's got it really down. He's really prepared for this. So if you are interested at all and you're in the area, I would do this. If we were in the area, we'd be involved because this is so cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. But we can't even pronounce the name of the place. Never mind travel there. So
that's true. But it is England. The funny thing about England is everybody thinks that it's everything. Like when you're in England, everybody thinks everything's really far apart. But we're so used to Canada where everything is really far apart that literally can get from one end of England to the other in like 4 hours on a train, where it takes like almost that long to get to the border here, so to the next province. So
yeah, I wonder how many Englands you could fit inside of, say, a good Newfoundland or.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, the distances. But so if you're anywhere in England, go to this tournament. So it is only every once in a while you have to be there. Go visit for the day, drive home. You can do it. Look at our friend Jeff Burbage. He goes all over the U.S. driving around, does dreadball tournaments. So if he could do it like 6-10-hour drives, you can drive to anywhere else in England to go to this guy's league and tournament. So there you go.
That's right. You get in your Reliant Robins and your Coopers and your MGs, and you just
Range Rovers.
Go.
Yep. So there you go. So thanks to Ben for all his hard work on this and on the Battle Scribe, and we hope it goes well. He's already got 12 players, so that's pretty awesome.
Well, he'll let us know. We'll be able to. We'll be able to highlight some of the best parts. We'll keep in touch.
Yes, and definitely, Ben, do send us pictures of the events and stuff. We'll show those off to get more people seeing what they can do too. Even if you're not in the area, this is something you could do yourself. Like I said, Ben just started with Deadzone. He's not a seasoned guy or anything that was thinking about this for years. He just got involved and he saw there was a need for this kind of stuff in his area, and he did it. So. We've always said that if you're into this and you want to get people involved, just do it yourself, because that's the way to get anything done. So there you go. We'll take a break now. We'll be back and we'll have some more social media frenzy. We'll talk about some cool pictures from the medias.
After this.
It is time for a brief message from our friends at Iron Watch Magazine.
Do you like Mantic games? Do you want to read about your favorite games in a monthly magazine? Have we got the offer for you? Iron Watch Magazine. Iron Watch brings you the latest news, articles, and short stories taking place in the Mantic universe. Dreadball, Kings of War, Deadzone, Warpath. You want it? They got it. Ironwatch.wordpress.com. Get it now for the low price of free. You can't beat that at twice the price. That's ironwatch.wordpress.com.
Download now. Welcome back to Coach and Friends, and today I'm joined with Roberto and Jeek.
And welcome back. Welcome back. I don't know if that commercial tugged on your heartstrings like it did for me. I don't know how they do it. That just, not a dry eye in the house.
It's true. It's really affected me.
Yeah. So what's next? What's next in our entertainment extravaganza?
Well, we do have social medias. Mostly YouTube for me. I don't know if it's, or not YouTube, Facebook for me. But if it's anything else for you, it'll be interesting. But
it's all YouTube. As I am not, I'm one to peruse Twitter now and then until it aggravates me with gender politics and lashing out, and it's an angry place. It is a really angry place.
That's the internet for you.
Yeah. So I stuck with fan interactions from our YouTube videos.
Awesome. Well, I'll start because I do have some posts on the Facebook about people posting their pictures of their miniatures. And the first one I got is from Andrew Sharp of the Rules Committee. And he's an Asterian player close to my heart, and he has some very cool subjects for the Asterians. He was doing test paints to see what he liked, and I like how he did. These pictures are all found on deadzonegame.podbean.com, but he did his ciphers in like a beige-ish off-white color with red highlights. He did his marionettes red with black highlights, and he did his black talon black with red highlights. And they're all looked at similar, but they're all different, which is, I like it. It's a hard balance in an army to do that, and I think he pulled it off quite well.
Yeah, I like the desert tan for the cipher, but if you were to pin me down and say which of those three is my favorite, the marionette for sure.
I agree 100%. The marionette, that red, and you got the nice black dark wash on it there to really highlight all the panel lines and stuff. He looks really cool.
Yeah, it's a badass paint job. I understand why you can't do all the different, because the Asterians in particular can look the same on the tabletop, so you can't do them all the same, but as marionettes go, those are dynamite.
Yeah, because if you did your ciphers the same as your marionettes, it would just turn into a red blob on the board, but yes, to do your marionettes like that and your ciphers different, and then the black talon black, which is important. Yeah, I really like how these guys turned out. And he put everybody in interesting positions, like some are crouching, some look like they're running. So he's got nice positions too on his guys. And so that was my first choice. Thank you, Andrew Sharp, for showing those off on Deadzone Fanatics, I believe. I found most of these on.
Oh. Okay, well, my first, I was looking for posts that, mine don't have pictures because I went from YouTube, but they're from comments from our friends and fans on our YouTube videos. And the first was, we did the Deadzone, the vodcast, episode 1, where we did an impromptu, see if we could live stream something.
Yeah, it was just a test, and it turned out really well. We haven't done it since because we've been really busy this summer, but I think we should get back into doing that. That was really fun.
Well, yes. And someone named Joe in Arizona, Joe in AZ, which I assume is Arizona, he wrote, his comment was, missed this live, but like to hang out if you do get one scheduled ahead of time. I may just have to bump up my Patreon contribution now so you guys can afford a light bulb too. Coach shouldn't be the only one with fancy equipment. Because if you remember in that video, Coach burst on the scene and was chastising you for the darkness of the situation and revealed that he used a light bulb, a bare light bulb. So you followed that with, nah, we like it dark. Maybe the next one we'll post a hangout link in Patreon if backers would like to join us. So this goes right along what you were saying. And then I finished out the thread by saying, a bare light bulb on a stick? Oh, dare to dream. We'd be like the king of France.
It is true. Yes, please, not to be ghost whores, but we do like people supporting our Patreon because it's fun for us.
And we've been horrifically busy with moving and other stuff this summer. We have intended to do a hangout that's been scheduled, and we are going to do something with Patreon. I already did a commercial, a mocked commercial for it. Rob found it in poor taste, but people will. Our Patreon supporters will be getting a hangout. That is guaranteed.
Yep. Well, we'll definitely have to do more for them because they're cool guys.
Yeah.
My next post is from Jesse Driver. He did some Forge Fathers, and I like this one because it's different color scheme. Usually we see like a lot of this has some metallics, but a lot of like monotone colors. Or this, he went all out. He's got some yellows, he's got some reds, he's got some silvers, he's got some blue. But it's I like it because it's different. They're not just the dour dwarves. These guys got some color on them. And I do like his Hellfather a lot. The Hellfather was, I think, generally, the way it was shown was all red. And he did like a red and yellow mix with some the metallic to give it some bling. And I think that turned out really cool. And just in general, yeah, he's got a lot of orange and red and yellow on his guys, and I found it very colorful for the Forge Fathers, and that's why I picked it, because I like to see different choices. Everybody does, even myself included, does metallics or solid colors for the powered armor guys, but I like it, his mix here. It gives them a interesting look.
And I agree. The metallics, everyone goes with metallics because it makes sense, thematically. But what really impressed me about his paint jobs were the skin tones that he has. You can see that the ones without the helmets on, obviously.
The Brockers, yeah.
The Brockers have like varied, dark-skinned, lighter-skinned. Guy's got a big beard. Time was put into. I have a hard time getting a good natural skin tone. And Jesse, he hit the nail right on the head. I was impressed.
Yeah, really well done. So thank you, Jesse, and hopefully you're listening. So what you got next?
What I got next is from Deadzone the Podcast, episode 69. That was the Deadzone and Countercharge collab.
Oh, yeah. I remember it fondly.
Yeah, me too. It was a long one, but boy, we had a good time, and we
got to work with professionals for once.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Countercharge for getting to episode 200 on their new show. Like that's a milestone right there.
Yes, for sure. But Rob and Mark did not expect. They came as professionals. They didn't expect us to come in like a circus.
That's true. And they put up with us.
And a lot of things were said. Threats were made.
Regrets were made.
Yeah, Rob and I probably exposed the seedy underbelly of our podcast and probably besmirched Deadzone in the eyes of Kings of War fans everywhere by our buffoonery.
I think we were a catalyst for change, though, because just after that, the rules committee got all shook up. So I think that was us.
You are correct. But in the comments, rather than highlighting the negatives, Rusted Beetle wrote, "I'm just commenting so that Jack isn't sad."
Oh.
And he put a little on a frowny emoticon behind it.
He's always thinking of you.
See, that is the nicest thing. The horrible things that I said.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I get from the likes of Rusted Beetle, and I think that
he could have chastised you for your certain things you said about certain people,
and rightfully so. That would have been my burden to bear, but no, he took a high road, and I appreciate it. So that is why I chose that comment.
Good choice. Thank you, our loyal fan, our loyal YouTube commenter, and person who actually searches out news for me every once in a while. Thank you, Beetle.
And to be honest, when I was doing my research for this, he went back into the catalog.
Yeah, he did. I get weird messages like, what does this mean? Oh, this was on like episode 15.
Oh, thanks, Beetle. I don't know what that refers to, but he did. He went back. He got in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah. So it's fun to try to piece together what he was commenting on. My next post was from Tom Wilson, and I like this one because he did something really interesting. He got his GCPS, but he used historical minis heads. So we got some like World War II miniatures for their heads. This guy's the first guy here is a captain of some sort. It looks like he's got the old what are they called, flat caps, and I like that. And he changed the gun too to make it the Frontier gun. He made some modifications, and I like to see kit bashing.
Yeah, you could tell where he had cut the front off and put on that new barrel, and it changes the look like enough that it's very different. Like it's got a whole other aesthetic.
Yeah, and the next picture is a close up. He put a sight on the top too to give us a real sight, or maybe even a laser sight. And I do like the World War II caps on these guys. And he had a bunch of them. He had some other heads too. So if you find Tom Wilson on, if you search for him on Deadzone Fanatics, you'll see all his kit bashing. The next one he did was, I think, the most. We've done crazy stuff with Striders. You've seen the documentation of our crazed Strider-a-thon. He took it to a new level because he turned a Strider into a Stunt Bot.
Yeah. He
flipped over the cockpit. He put the arms in weird positions. Like he did the impossible and made it look like a totally different Strider.
If you do nothing else but fast forward through this podcast, or if you go to YouTube or look down, this is impressive in its just, I don't know, daring. Like he started cutting and gluing, and it wasn't going to work. Like it works.
Yeah, it looks great.
I want to see it painted. I want to see it painted up now.
Yep. Hopefully we see all these miniatures painted because he just got this GCPS stuff, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with it because you can look at it and you go, okay, I see how it is, but it looks totally different. Like it looks like a different Strider, and it works. Like I think it even might look even better the way it works. Like it looks more like a cockpit on the top.
Yeah, the way it is designed. The original Strider is out of scale with the miniatures, but it was because, hey, you know what? They don't really need to be in scale. There's a lot of give or take there. It's more of a there's not a hard and fast rule. You couldn't fit a real miniature inside the cockpit of a Strider.
They'd be really crunched in there if they were. Yeah.
Well, because when you have the open cockpit design, you see the little tiny miniature that they've got in there with little hands, which is why I closed the cockpits on mine, because I like to think that they're actually like an exosuit.
Yeah.
More so, like the guy's arms are actually sort of in the arms, and the cockpit is where his torso is. Now with what he's built, it looks like you could fit a little guy in there. Maybe like Georgie the Goblin down in there.
Yeah, it is a Stunt Bot, so it would be Goblin driven.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. And I'd like to see more from him. I'm going to keep an eye on Tom there. And you have anything else, Jack?
I have two more, and I think you did. Was that the last of your?
Yeah, that was the last of my pictures. I went through, and that's the ones I was found interesting. So let's talk about your comments.
Okay, well then, in episode 66 of the Deadzone podcast, we were doing our Adepta Prep and guests. So we started with what we were looking forward to and whatever. We were all hyped, and then the usual gang showed up. It was Coach and Tyler from Dreadpath Zone,
and the Third Sphere podcast.
Yeah, well, there wasn't a Third Sphere podcast at the time.
I think it was just starting at the time, and they might even announced it on that show.
We might have, maybe. Yes, maybe that is. And it was a good episode. Coach had a comment about it's a good thing he was there to save the podcast, which I've noticed that is a running gag. A lot of our videos where he's there, he posts down at the bottom, "Thank God I was there to save that train wreck," or the interview saved that one. But the comment that I chose, because it's funny, it's as childish and stupid as it is, it made me laugh. And someone named Hobby Habit wrote, "I'm only halfway through, so this is half a comment. I really like the ...
That's his whole comment? Did he at least finish it when he finished the podcast? Did he write anything else?
No, he left it like that.
He never came back. That's the issue.
But as I resumed my research, I said, all of the people that I chose the comments from, if I could, I clicked on their little icon to see what they were up to. Much like Nicodemus Sandberg.
Oh, a cyberstalker. I thought that's what you were going to say.
Oh, Nicodemus, he made, on our last episode, we discussed some of his stuff and one of his shout-outs, and he left a gorgeous long comment that you should check out. We should have done a shout-out to him in this podcast, actually. It was the longest YouTube comment I've ever seen, and he went through and, it was very nice. But anyways, I clicked on his link, saw what he was up to. So I want to do that now. More and more people comment on YouTube. But anyways, I checked out the Hobby Habit. And he, every once in a while, does a little segment called What's Happening. And he was talking about his Forge Fathers and his Enforcers. And at the end of his last one, he did a shout-out to Family of Gamers, to Deadzone, and to us.
Oh.
Us, right here. I'm pointing to myself, and then I'm going to point at Rob.
That's me.
He gave a little shout-out. So that was nice. I was entertained by the comment, went and checked out his thing, said, oh, he's got a little thing going on. Maybe we'll send him a message. Maybe I'll keep an eye out. And then I watched one of the videos, and it was a shout-out to us in there.
And we'll have the link to his stuff in the show notes, so you can go and compliment bomb him and subscribe to his channel also.
Sure, why not? Are we spreading out too thin? Like, are we two targets in one episode? Like, is that?
It takes one click. It's not like it's hard, people. You can do this.
Get in your Range Rovers and your Reliant Robins and your Astras and drive over to their houses.
Maybe not go to their houses.
Okay.
Yes, that's cool. And you have another comment.
I do, because I thought we were doing 4 and 4.
Yes.
I think that Stunt Bot. Once you saw that, you just.
I did. I kind of I stalled at that point.
Walked away. I'm done.
Drop the mic.
Tapping out.
Yep.
Well, you can be like Rice Gum and you can take the L. I forged on, and my final comment here was on Deadzone Containment Protocols #2, The Hunt, and I've been listening to the Containment Protocols again recently because we did them in record time, and I don't know if you understand how much work went into those, you the listeners, but all those background noises, the narration. Rob, I don't know how his vocal cords haven't just been torn asunder still to this day.
Well, there's a reason we haven't done the next one yet.
Yeah. We burned out because we pushed through. We did them all in like one after the other.
Yeah, we made a silly thing that we
promised.
Yeah, we promised that one a week. So
yeah, Community Pat said, "Hey, wouldn't it be a good idea?" And we just Community Pat says, "Hey, can you?" And we yes, we can. We don't even finish listening. Yeah. What he needs, we're there for him. But boy, oh boy, was it tough.
Yeah.
So, anyways, going back and listening, all the silly things that were bothering me when you're doing it, and the levels are not right here. That sound effect isn't. And you go back 6 months, a year later, and you go, "Oh, that sounds so good." So I'm re-listening now, fresh faced and ready to. I don't have the expectation of perfection I had at the time. Underneath. Containment Protocols 2, The Hunt, someone named Michael Gray wrote, "Wow, that was awesome. You guys did an excellent job with the production. Thank you." Oh, okay. That's just a nice comment. Until you realize that Michael Gray wrote the story.
Yes, he was the actual author of that story. Yep.
Now, a nice compliment. We get complimented on the containment protocols all the time. But when it's someone who that's their hard work, they wrote that story. It's not like a short story as in like a couple pages of nonsense. It was a good story. When someone has their hard work adapted, corrupted outside of their control, he had no input at all, and two ticks decide to, what the thing sounded like and what the inflections were, and change, what the tones were, and he said we did an excellent job, and that feels good. Every once in a while, a little back rub, a little pat on my bum, that feels good.
Yeah, it's cool. And it's neat that he got to hear it too. That he actually found it. So it's a nice combination.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that wraps it up. Have you done any painting?
I was working on a little terrain. It was small scraps of stuff left over that I was working on when I couldn't be asked to get involved with too much. While my Enforcer plane was drying at times, I won't even bother showing anyone what it is. It's some of the pipes, it's some of the just little nonsense.
Well, in the future, maybe we'll have a terrain showcase showing off the stuff we've been working on. So I'm sure there's stuff that I've been working on terrain-wise too that we can show off.
Well, hopefully we get some tunnelers coming and some Star Saga on the doorstep. We don't have to rely on scrounging for content like terrain-a-thons or
all media roundups. Oh.
Oh.
I hope you enjoyed it. It was a bit of a departure from our regular show, but I think we had some fun, and hopefully we make some people's days by compliment bombing them, and also we get some people more subscribers or different looks at other things, and encourage people to post their pictures of especially their conversions, but also their paint jobs. Conversions really I like to see a lot because that's really cool. But paint jobs are a dime a dozen. But no, we love it all, and
yes,
and we just like to see the community getting together and doing this kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool.
This was kind of this show turned into a love letter to our community and to our friends and our fans, and that's nice.
Yep.
That's why we do it.
So thank you, and until next time, hopefully, like we say, we'll have more things to talk about. We'll be doing team building exercise. I believe we're doing GCPS. Are we? Yes. Yes, the new GCPS.
Yes, we are. Because I broke protocol and demanded we do two things in a row, and
Coach,
we saw a side of Coach that.
I thought I was the regimented taskmaster, but yeah, Coach, that really pushed Coach's buttons there.
Yeah, I did. It was fun. It was fun to do. I was being a horse's ass, and I expected a little bit of pushback, but boy,
I was going to edit it out, but it was so funny that I left it in.
Yeah.
So,
but
yep. Until then, please. Check out cafepress.ca/Deadzone Podcast for merch. Check out the Patreon at patreon.com/Deadzone Podcast. And until next time, I've been Rob.
And I'm Jack.
Thank you for listening. We'll be back.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Deadzone Podcast. I have been your announcer, William Randolph Wintergreen. Visit the website, deadzonegame.podbean.com. Email your hosts at deadzonepodcast@gmail.com. On Twitter, you can follow the show at Deadzone Podcast. The Deadzone Podcast is a production of Vinland Old Time Radio Productions. You have been listening to the Deadzone Podcast. And now, a word from the fine folks at Vinland Old Time Radio.
Vinland Old Time Radio. It is to that.
Ahoy there, Dirigible. Help a fellow Empire citizen out with you.
It's a gavel, a haunted gavel.
Have you read The King in Yellow?
Hello, William.
I made the koala burgers.
So, what's new?
Are you insane?
That better be a rhetorical question. And yes. I once knew a Spaniard in Tarragona who spoke in gibberish like you.
Up, and escape!
That was terrible.
I should be a god, and instead I'm stuck down here like a worm.
She would tell me such wonderful stories.
Dr. Deja Vu will return.
Africa's a continent?
It's with great protest.
Ooh, now that's a fine program.
VinlandOldTimeRadio.podbean.com.